Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. My name is Tanecia August, and this presentation is called Infusing Fun and Creativity to Prevent Substance Abuse for Children using an online platform. And this is a prevention program for substance abuse. Throughout this presentation, if anyone has any questions or comments, then the chat box is open. So you can place your questions there. You can always raise your hand and then I will try to get to everyone. All right, so a little outline. We're going to go through an introduction, then I'll go through the rationale of the prevention program. We have 3 learning objectives that we'll go over today, and the 3 activities that we'll do today will be the drug and medication matching card game. We have a role play activity and an artwork and poetry activity. Then we'll go through questions, any questions anyone has. All right. So a little bit about the background of this program. It's a school-based prevention program for 4th and 5th grade students. And we're taking the approach of positive and uplifting based on cultural life and social skills to encourage these 4th and 5th grade students to get them to abstain from drug use and give them pointers and knowledge on how to deal with peer pressure. So the students in this program will gain effective strategies for implementing interactive formats such as the role play and how to combat the use of drugs. And this is a very necessary program just to develop them socially, cognitively, and physically against the use of drugs. There is a significantly high number of drug misuse and abuse by teenagers, and a lot of the prevention programs haven't really highlighted real life situations based upon culturally responsive formats. And so there's also a need for research for prevention programs for the elementary students. We do believe that drug prevention, or not believe, but there is not a lot of research recently on drug prevention programs for elementary students in the last 10 years. So this program will give some background and also be one of those kind of pilot programs for elementary students to maybe gain some research for the future. And so a lot that's going on right now, just to give an overall idea of why the prevention program is needed, is because of the opioid crisis in 2019, where people the age of 12 and older who misuse opioids in the past year. And just if you see right here, the second point, there was a 4% increase for 11 to 14-year-olds for stimulant overdoses in the last year. And so often students increase their knowledge about life skills through communication, problem solving, and through their attitudes towards substance abuse, which is why this prevention program is necessary, because we want to give them the knowledge and the actual importance of why they should have protective factors against substance abuse and all the negative impacts that they can have on their lives. All right, so the 3 learning objectives for this program, the first one is they will learn weekly evidence-based techniques to combat against the pressures of drug use. So we'll be using fun activities and encouraging role play. And this will happen amongst the children in the class. So they'll be role playing with their peers. The second objective will be that they will engage in 10-minute group mindfulness and meditation exercises that are age appropriate. And the third objective will be that they will learn effective methods on advocating against social norms of drug abuse and misuse. And we're going to use 3 artwork and expressive writing assignments throughout the tenure of the program. So today we're only going to discuss 3 activities that we may use in this program. And the first one that we'll go over is the drug and medication matching game. And I'll explain what you will need for this activity and also the role play and the artwork and poetry. And I'll give some examples of how those activities will work. So for the drug and medication matching card game, we're basically going to be covering what the students know about drugs and medication. And so there are a variety of cards that will be placed on the table, and the students are to lay them face down, and they'll have to match. There's going to be a brief definition on like 5 of the cards, and then the other 5 cards are going to be pictures of either gummy bears, kids' vitamins, a picture of a Tylenol, a picture of electronic vape. And so all of these cards are going to be turned face down, and the kids are going to be taking turns to flip them over to match the cards. And the way that it works is they'll just go around in a circle until all the cards are turned over and matched with the description in the picture. So I have a video to show how this game will go. The students in this video, I am a 5th and 6th grade group leader teacher on Sundays. Sorry. Okay. So on Sundays, these students come to church, and I basically teach them the Bible every Sunday, every week. We do outside activities, and we go to fun places, and it's just like a mentoring group. And so these are 4th, 5th, and 6th graders in this group, and they are doing the matching card game. I have these cards for y'all. We are going to play a matching game. So y'all are going to take the picture cards, flip them over, and they have words or definitions of what the picture is. So basically, y'all are going to take turns flipping them over, space them out so that it's kind of like 3 in a row. And don't look at the cards. So y'all are basically going to put it like a game. Y'all are going to take turns flipping them over and matching the picture with the definition or what it is. Okay? Okay? Okay. No.
It's a vitamin.
That's not a vitamin.
It is a vitamin.
That's a rock.
It is a vitamin.
Whatever it is.
No,
it is.
It's a vitamin.
Okay.
No, it's not. It's a vitamin. It's in the star medicine.
Oh, she got it. Wait, come back. She got it. Tylenol.
No, it's over the counter. I said that one is. That is not a prescription. Oh, yes, it is. Wait, no.
Yes.
I don't remember.
Y'all have to figure that out.
It's a gummy bear. That's not a prescription.
It's candy.
What?
Well, you flipped the right one over, so that's a match. I'm not sure if this one is.
No, yeah, I said that wasn't right. So what? I don't really know. You have to flip over all the cards.
Oh, kid vitamins.
Gonna go with the candy. Okay. I told you that was a vitamin.
That looks like a rock.
It does. It looks like a rock.
It's flintstones.
Over
now.
Yes, these are.
We win.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Okay, so for this matching card game, there will need to be a counselor or teacher who facilitates the game, just because the students, they don't already have the knowledge of what drugs are, what medication actually is. And so after they play this game, the counselor or the facilitator will go around and ask questions, and they'll just sort of like raise their hands. And so we'll ask them questions like, okay, what does medicine look like? Or what is medication? Where is it stored? Who provides medicine and who should take medicine? So these questions will have an open discussion, and that's a way for the facilitators, the counselors, to actually understand what these students know already. And we're also going to, I guess, encourage them and give them the actual knowledge behind what the definitions are and how to use drugs in a safe manner.
I have these cards.
Okay, so the next activity will be a role play activity. And basically, it's gonna also initiate open conversation about medication and drugs. And this particular activity is going to highlight the different levels of peer pressure. And so we have came up with 3 different scenarios. So it's gonna be an easy, medium, or hard. And what we're trying to do basically is answer the question, okay, what would you do if a classmate offers you a medicine or a drug? So we're gonna act this out. And what I will need for today is 2 participants, so 2 volunteers to help us act this out. And so if anyone wants to volunteer, you can raise your hand or put it in the chat.
I'll definitely be the one of the volunteers as the co-presenter. But if any of you in this meeting room can contribute this role play activity, it will be very fun and it could be a good learning experience. Can raise your hand if you could just unmute yourself and participate in this role play.
And I'll go ahead and explain, I guess, the 3 different levels. So
Right.
the easy level, you will basically, there will be 2 people, and there will be one person who is trying to pressure the other person to take the drugs. And then the other student is on the other end and has to overcome the peer pressure of taking the drug or the medication. And then the medium level, you're basically making the decision harder to refuse for the person who is against taking the drug or the medication. And then the hard level is basically you're being more persistent and you're making it harder for the other student to not take the drug. And so this will include me, who will be the counselor. I'll play the ally against the other students and basically be there for the student who is being pressured to take the drug. And so, yeah, if y'all have any questions, or if you want to be a part of this role play, just let us know.
So seems like our audience in this room may not be able to talk or turn on the video at this point. So maybe you and me can just demonstrate whatever we prepared. You want to try?
Yes. Do you want to do
All right.
the medium or the hard? We can do the medium because that's still like 2 people.
2 people, right? So yeah, we need more people to demonstrate the hard situation. So okay, let's go for the medium level.
Okay.
So it's kind of medium hard to refuse.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'll be the person who pressures you, or
right.
Okay.
And then tell me a little bit about the backgrounds of the relationship.
Okay. So the background, the setting will be on a school campus, let's say an elementary school campus. We're in the hallway and we're in our lockers. We're getting our bags out. or our binders out of our lockers, getting ready to go to the next class. And just let's say we're coming from lunch.
Okay. And we're friends,
Yes,
obviously.
we are
Okay.
friends. We have
Okay.
classes together, and we're actually about to go to class together right now.
So we're really acting with any kind of kids who are in good friendships.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So I come to you. Hey, Dr. J, how's it going today?
Hey, Tanecia. Pretty good. Yeah. How was your weekend?
My weekend was pretty good, I spent some time with my cousins, and
Okay.
I really want to talk to you about something that we did.
What is that?
Okay, so I hung out with my cousins this weekend,
Uh-huh.
and they took these pills, and there were some blue pills, and they told me they felt so good, and they actually, like, I think we should try them. But I didn't try it with them, but I want to try it with you.
What?
Yes. So do you think that you would like to try some with me? They told me they felt really good after they took the pills.
I don't know. Who is this cousin person? I mean, is she good close to you and
Well, yeah, it was my
live around here?
Yes. No, she doesn't live around where we live, but she still lives like 10 to 15 minutes from us. Um,
Okay.
it was my cousin and her friends. They live in her neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
and they were at a family function, like a little party, and I was there too with my mom and my siblings, and yeah, they tried these drugs, and they just told me they
Drug
felt
is that?
good. Huh?
What kind of drug is that?
I'm not sure what it was, but they told me they felt really good. I can ask my cousin what kind of drug it was, but I don't think it's dangerous and anything like that, because like,
Really?
yeah.
Well, you know what? I've been really stressed out about the exam that we have next week. So it sounds really great, but I'm not sure. Can I ask my mom?
No, don't ask your mom. Just I know that it will make you feel really good, especially because you have an exam coming up. Like, it will just make you feel extremely good, and like you won't worry about an exam or anything like that. You'll just feel good, and we can hang out and just see how it goes from there.
Well, I can definitely hang out with you, but I don't know about the pill, really. I think I really need to think about it.
Okay,
Are
well,
you just are you decided about that? Are you gonna go even without me anyway?
no, I wanted to, if you don't go, then I don't think I'm gonna go.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we really need to think about it then. I don't know.
Okay, well, just don't talk to your mom about it or your dad about it. Um, because we just keep it between you and I.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So that was kind of like a role play, or not kind of, that was a role play example of how this activity will kind of go. And like I said, we have 3 different levels: the easy, medium, or hard. So this could go back and forth. And of course, with the hard, it becomes more difficult because there are more people involved. So right now, we only had 2 volunteers. So Dr. J and I, we're just kind of going back and forth. But then when you have a third person, they're kind of saying things that may influence the person in another way or cause them to respond in a different way. So we'll kind of do this activity with the children and have them kind of go against each other. And of course, as the counselor, teacher, or facilitator, that person will also be there to be an ally against the other students who are trying to present the drugs and medication, as I did to Dr. J. So, any questions so far? I feel like I'm kind of going through it, but okay. We'll go through to the next slide. All right. So after the role play activity, we'll kind of discuss the principles, like I said, throughout the medication, the card game activity, and just all the dialogue, the pictures that we kind of discuss. We'll come up with 4 principles. And so 4 of them are listed here of examples that we'll come up with. And so the first one is to only take medication with parental consent or from your parent or guardian. We do not share medication or take someone else's medication. The students will have learned that medication should be kept in their original container and to avoid confusion with any candy or medicine, because like you heard in the video, some of the kids were thinking that the kids' vitamin was candy and that the kids' vitamin was like not even a vitamin. So they don't really know until you tell them. And so of course, if you are putting candy or vitamins in different containers, some of the kids' vitamins look like candy. So just to keep that distinction, we should always store medicine in a safe place and always have it like in a locked cabinet or a high cabinet that small children can't reach. And so the goal here is to also establish clear rules and the appropriate use and consequences of drug use and misuse. So this will be like an initial session to this prevention program, just to give them the basic knowledge of what the difference of drugs and the difference of medication and the usage and all those different things, the dosage as well. So the third activity will be about artwork and poetry. And so the objective is to take what we've learned from the day and to use that in some type of artwork and expressive writing. So the artwork and expressive writing would be like a picture or poetry. And like I said, we went through some examples of drug safety principles, but the students, if they want to create their own, they can, and they're going to present them in a drawing or a poem. And so all you will need is construction paper, colors and markers. And throughout this activity at the end, once the students have presented their artwork as a group, everyone will kind of come together to see, well, what were the 4 best drug principles, and that will kind of be like the incentive to the end of that activity. So I'm going to show a clip and an example of what the students in my Sunday youth group did. So this next activity is going to be another interactive activity, and we're going to be using construction paper and markers. And it's kind of like a creative writing and also just a drawing. You can do like write a poem or you can do a drawing. And so we're gonna, you will come up with drug safety principles and we're gonna choose the 4 best ones. So basically what you're gonna do is the 4 principles that we discussed, you can come up with your own or you can use the ones that we discussed. And so the first one that we discussed, if y'all remember, it was to only take medicine from individuals who are a parent or a guardian. The second one was do not share medication or take someone else's medication. The third one was to keep medications in their original containers to avoid confusion with candy or medicines. Always store medicine in a safe place, such as a locked cabinet or a high shelf that children can't reach. So we've already discussed these 4 principles. You can also come up with your own, where you're going to draw a picture or you're going to write a poem. I'm gonna pass out the construction paper and markers. Okay. So this next activity is going to be. So in conclusion, investing in our children in a preventative manner, especially when they're in the age of being in 4th grade and 5th grade, we're basically closing the gap to the cases that are prevented at the intervention stage, because like I said, the numbers of students and children who get addicted to drugs or have overdosed recently, the ages are getting younger than the last 10 years. And so coming at the 4th and 5th grade stage and placing an intervention, a prevention gap will close the gap during the intervention stage. And so this program can be utilized in various settings. It's just a matter of downloading the information, and anyone pretty much can facilitate all of these activities. Like I said, pre-adolescents are at a young age where substance use perceptions and behaviors are not consistently reinforced. So this will be a great way to help them to be receptive to the information, and also as they journey from elementary to middle school and the different influences that they'll have, they'll know how to deal with those experiences before they enter middle school and that transitioning period. So like I said, just the aim is to close the gap at the intervention stage. That is mostly it for today's presentation, and I would just like to send a special thanks to the church staff and the parents and children who participated in the recording, and the Chicago School of Professional Psychology, this conference, for giving me the opportunity, and Dr. J for just assisting me as well. So, any questions? Anyone?
Tanecia, if you look at the chat box, there is one participant putting up some discussion question. Can you see that? Maybe it was sent to just me. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, now sent to everybody now. Okay. Thank you, Joshua.
Yes, thank you, Joshua.
Coming up with this great discussion question. Since we have time, it'd be great time spent if we have a little bit of discussion based on this great questions. But I don't know how much the availability of our participants here. But would you like to go over these questions first, Tanecia?
Sure. Okay, so the first question is what are the weekly evidence-based techniques to combat the pressures of drug use through fun and encouraging role play amongst peers. So basically like going through the presentation. So it'll be the role play activity.
Matching card game.
You said one more time. Oh yeah, the matching card game and the artwork activity. And so that was let's say the first lesson plan. There'll be a number of lesson plans based on the weeks in the program. And so each week we'll kind of come up with different activities to engage the students and for them to be interactive, but also learn at the same time. So that is the goal for each activity, to be interactive and to have them engaged, but to also teach them.
And you also had meditation activity?
Yes. So the meditation activity is something that I feel calms the mind, and through research studies has also helped with behavioral issues with children, adolescents. And so that will be another activity that we will incorporate in the program. And it'll just be 10 minutes and we'll listen to some meditation, some guided meditation, just to have them to relax, to kind of be present in the moment, and to take their minds off of everything that's going on around them.
And also the question says evidence-based techniques. So do you have any previous research that can support any of the activities we came up? Or maybe, as you said in the introduction, there's not much of research done on this area. So would you like to say something about that part as well?
Yes, so for prevention programs are not on drug use or abuse. That's not a very prevalent program that goes on. Most programs are intervention programs at the high school level. So there isn't a lot of research, especially in the past 10 years, on any prevention programs for elementary students. So the role play activity, the meditation exercises, the matching card game is just something that, from my experience working with children, that they are engaged in and learn from, that I work with them on different activities, different learning activities that I know they will learn from. So yeah, there isn't a lot of research on preventative programs for drug use and abuse for elementary students. So that's kind of why this program, I feel, can help with that approach. There was another question. What exercises you learn and enjoy during the 10 minutes mindfulness and meditation portion? What exercises did you learn and enjoy? So yeah, like I said, just being able to not think about anything else. And a lot of these students are not don't have experience in meditation. And even in the class that I mentor the youth on Sundays, all 10 of them that came that day, I asked them if they had been to a class or had anybody come out to their schools to teach them about drug use or drug abuse or prevention or anything like that. And all of them told me no. So they don't have classes for them to learn about drug use or how to go against the pressures of drug use. And so in a lot of ways, this is new for them. The meditation is new for them. So it's just giving them the skills that they will need for their future. And then the third question was, what methods did you learn that advocate against social norms of drug abuse and misuse? And what were the 3 artwork and expressive writing assignments shown? Okay. So there were only, I'm going to go backwards and answer the second question. So there were only 2 artwork and expressive writing assignments, and that was poetry and the drawings. So a lot of the students, they kind of just wrote different things on their papers, like do not vape, but mostly it was drawings. There wasn't any poetry per se. One student did write like an acronym of the word drugs, and what that meant to her. So I guess that could be considered as like a poem. And then to answer the first part of the question, what methods did you learn that advocate against social norms of drug abuse and misuse? I think hearing the students out, talking to my students and other students that I work with, and just like I said, the cultural piece, so knowing what's relevant in the time, just like now, it's kind of like the opioid crisis, and the vaping, that's kind of what is relevant now. So taking on things that they're actually being approached with, whether it's through media, other students, just in their community, and kind of bringing that to the table and being open and aware, creating a safe space for them to talk about these things, because these are not things that they talk to their parents about. And like I said, they're not being taught in school about these things, but these things come up on social media, they come up in conversations. And so I know that it is very much needed. So that was the end of that question. I hope I answered your questions, Joshua.
Okay.
Any other questions?
If we don't have any other questions, I think we can just wrap up this presentation. What do you think?
Well, you do have to go the full hour in order for the presentation to qualify for continuing education. So if there's anything you want to review, or if you want to go over some other questions that come up, during your work, that would be great.
Okay.
So you want to tell us a little bit about the students, the kids' reactions when you actually tried out this demonstration with the children. I wonder if you had any chance to make a little bit of assessment about their pre-knowledge on this issue. Were they, or was there any education or prevention program they were exposed to before? Did you have a chance to discuss about their readiness to take on these prevention programs?
Yes. So basically beforehand, post this program that I did with them, I didn't know if they had any experience or any prior knowledge to any drug prevention or programs. And so after I did the different activities with them, I asked them and they told me that none of them had any programs or didn't even have speakers to come in. And of course, right now everyone is virtual. So some of them still are going on campus, but overall, none of them have been educated on any drugs or alcohol. And they're all in the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. So, I mean, like I said, just based on research, that's not a common thing for elementary students. You don't see, most of the studies are for prevention programs, and that isn't until high school. The earliest is like 8th grade, maybe. But like they'll have certain, I guess police officers come in and things like that, which I've seen in the past to maybe talk about drug use and drug prevention and things like that, but not at an intervention stage and not as young as like 4th, 5th, 6th grade.
Yes,
So,
like we expected.
yes. So it was all new for them. But I feel like they really enjoyed it. And honestly, I kind of learned information as well, which I could use for the next lesson plan because, a lot of the kids, I know that vaping is like a common thing now, but just hearing their stories or like the first place that they've seen a drug or, heard about it like on TV or heard their friends discussing it. And so for me, like as a facilitator and the creator of the program, I know how to like gauge where the students are based on that initial lesson plan, and I'm able to kind of like structure the program around what they need. So like meeting them where they are and just making it more personable for them, because I feel like that's the only way that they can be helped. Because if it's like a general concept, like they're not really able to grasp it, or they tune it out. They're not really listening if it's nothing that they can relate to. And so that was like informative for me because a lot of them were like, yeah, like vaping is a huge thing. Like everybody vapes, they vape in the restroom and just all these different things that they on a day-to-day basis experience, but no one talks to them about it. No one even knows that they deal with those things.
Was there any negative feedback from students? Just as a heads up before we try out any other sessions.
No, I didn't get any negative responses. I actually, even from the parents and like I guess the staff at the church were very intrigued by the program, and they actually got a grant a year or two ago and was like, hey, like we've been looking for this type of program in the church, because there's still a community there, as far as kids and just kind of getting that information out there. So they were very surprised and like just felt that it was much needed. A lot of the parents were just, like I said, discussing how they don't talk to their kids about it for the most part. Like the details of it. And the kids are really, I guess, not comfortable to talk to their parents about drugs or things like that with all the other stuff that is going on in the world. So
any other questions from the audience, please?
okay. Okay, so do we have to go into the 11 o'clock mark or?
Looks like it.
Okay. I mean, I guess I can, let's see, is there a question? Okay. Miriam said, thank you for the information. You're welcome. I don't know if I should go into like, I guess the next lesson plan, I guess, just
Oh yeah,
based.
you wanna do that medication demonstration that you haven't done, or
Well, because we started the first lesson plan on the medication, the second, like given that background knowledge on medication and drugs, the second lesson plan I was thinking will kind of be based on like beliefs and value systems. So like culturally, what the students have been taught, you know, their beliefs, value systems, whether it has to deal with religious values or just cultural family values, and how that plays a part into drug use. And so through that objective, just creating activities based on that as well. So still using the role play and just changing the scenario is how the next lesson plan will look. And so whether that, you know, we just always want to increase their knowledge and awareness of typical, I guess, conversations that may come up or that goes on day to day, so that they'll know, they'll have a plan in their mind and their head if someone comes to them and tries to offer them any type of drug. They'll know what to say. You know, they'll have an exit plan. So that'll be something else that we discuss, like knowing how to have an exit plan. So yeah. I guess I'm not sure if I guess for the people who joined today, this is my first conference presentation. So I was wondering, like, do I get any feedback or anything, or how does that work? Or did anyone have any feedback today just about the presentation or about the program? Like maybe if anyone wants to unmute themselves, just share, like, have you had experience with a prevention program or intervention program or anything like that? Or you could put it in the chat, but just to get some feedback.
Just chat would be great, since I think most of them aren't able to speak, unmute themselves, some situations. So just provide any feedbacks or comments in the chat box for Tanecia's first presentation. There is one question. Thank you, Miriam. It's about parents teaching.
So, okay, so the question was, have you worked with parents teaching them this activity to reinforce the teaching at home? I guess a big part of like this conference and then what just with COVID and the world we're living in now, this program is something that can be downloadable. And so not just sharing it with kids like in a school setting, but like in a church setting or at home is definitely applicable for this program. And so parents can definitely take this and teach it to their children. And just in a school setting, just I guess holistically, I would like for this program to deal with, you know, teachers being invested into it, parents being invested, and like counselors as well. Just because if everyone is on the same page, like we're able to reinforce the information, like you said. So it's not just coming from one direction, but it's a holistic view, a community type of view. So I think when something like that happens, we're shaping the child's mind and culturally shaping them to say, hey, you know, drugs are not only bad, but this is how we respond to them and this is how we use them. So I definitely think parents, teachers, like everyone should get involved. Thank you so much, Miriam, for that question.
Okay. I think we can wrap up now.
Okay.
Do you have anything you want to say?
I just want to thank everyone for joining and being here today. I hope that this was helpful in some way. And honestly, that this program can be used like in elementary schools all over. Because the kids are, just because it's a different state, we live in Texas, some of you are in Chicago, it's the same influences that are happening with all of our children. So I think it's imperative to keep the conversation going and also like present these intervention programs at an earlier stage. So yeah, thank you to everyone who came, and thank you, Dr. Lee.
Thank you.